city of Minneapolis. I went to graduate school. I was working on a master's degree, and I took the test to be a city planner. So I grew up in Minneapolis too. So wow, I got hired. I finished #1 on the test. I got hired with the city of Minneapolis as a city planner. I was pretty proud to hold that little card up that said my name and city planner, Minneapolis. Then I lost my job. 3.5 years later, there was a recession, as we all know about recessions by now. And I was out of work for about 4 or 5 months. And then in Minneapolis, they didn't go out of their way, but somebody let me know that there was a job in not the planning department, but the public works department, because they were going to start something called a recycling program. And so for me, there was a very personal reason for wanting to see recycling succeed, because if it didn't succeed, I would have lost another job. So that was a heck of a motivator. And then as I became involved and knowledgeable about recycling over the years, I realized that it has got enormous benefits. And the benefits range from, like I said, helping the environment. It actually is conserving resources. I mean, it makes no sense to, when you drink an aluminum can, the aluminum in that can was made from an ore called bauxite. That bauxite is mined primarily in a country called Jamaica in the Caribbean. So people dig it out of the ground, put it on a ship to the United States, where it goes through a smelting process, uses lots and lots of electricity to get that nice sheet of aluminum that is then molded into a soft drink can. Gets used once, and people throw it away. Goes in the garbage. It's like, holy cow! That's why aluminum is so valuable, because what's in that aluminum can is pure, refined aluminum. It makes no sense that to just toss it away where it won't get very likely not used again. If it goes to the garbage where it can't be used again, because they mix it, they burn it up, they melt it in it, and they don't do it deliberately. It's just part of what happens when you put something in a fire that's 2,000 degrees, and it gets all contaminated with different kinds of ash and soot, and all glass particles and everything. So that aluminum is unrecoverable. And when you think of how important it is for a nation to conserve resources and energy, you know, a lot of this, I mean, the energy it takes to make an aluminum can, they say just the energy alone is, if you fill that glass half full of gasoline, that's the equivalent amount of energy that you save by recycling. And then finally, I realized just as in the past few years that recycling creates jobs. And I don't know, I heard America needs to be creating jobs right now, so it really makes a lot of sense.
Can you list the positives of recycling?
Well, I covered some of them there. I mean, the environmental, saving energy, and also job creation. I think it also, there's another aspect to recycling that people don't recognize. I think a lot of people realize we have to do a better job of taking care of the environment. We are starting to have problems with, and the information isn't all in yet, but global warming is considered an issue. And it's hard to get people to change habits. Do you own a car? Not yet? Do you want to own a car?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's America. The car will probably get 20 to 25 miles per gallon. It's unfortunate because we really should be shooting for like 50 miles per gallon. There's only so much oil in the world, and we're using it at a prodigious rate. And how do you get people to start thinking in those terms? Well, if we can get them to recycle an aluminum can, that's at least a start. And that leads to other types of positive environmental activities. So that's one of the biggest positives I see about recycling, is that it builds this awareness of how, as each individual has to change their lifestyles a little bit. And, you know, maybe, I know a lot of, I remember I had some students in here from the zoo school in Apple Valley, the School for Environmental Studies. And the Prius came out. You know what the Prius is? Okay. So I thought, oh, this is great. Toyota made the Prius. It was one of the first hybrid cars running on electricity and gasoline. And I said, well, what do you guys think of the Prius? And all the macho guys go, oh, what an ugly car! Well, maybe. If the General Motors or Ford or Honda develops a fast-looking car. I don't know, I would have taken 6 of those young guys and said, well, what do you consider a good-looking car? And then I would just stuck a hybrid engine. If that's what it gets to get them to change.